Welcome to our latest video. Today we're shining a light on an understated star of the 70s, the Suzuki GT550. We'll show you why this air-cooled, three-cylinder two-stroke still captivates, where its limits lie, and what to look out for if you're thinking of buying one. Brought to you by Motorize, your go-to source for new and used parts. The GT550 blends laid-back long-distance manners with classic two-stroke punch and adds a party trick: 4 chrome mufflers, even though only 3 cylinders are firing. The center exhaust port feeds 2 mufflers, shaping the bike's slim silhouette as much as its iconic soundtrack. You also get 3 individual carburetors, a clean oiling system, and a cooling air deflector over the cylinder head. In short, a machine that shows off its engineering without shouting, and, with the right care, can still surprise today. History and development. In 1972, Suzuki launched the GT550, the middle sibling in its 3-cylinder two-stroke family, slotting between the GT380 and the GT750. In its debut year, internally coded J, it came with a twin leading shoe front drum brake. By 1973, the K model had moved to a front disc. Through the L, M, and A versions up to the final B in 1977, Suzuki refined the carburation, optimized the intake tract, and what, depending on the year, added breakerless PEI ignition, and the SRS, Suzuki Recycle Injection System, which reduces oil pooling in the crankcase. In North America, it wore the Indy badge and earned praise for sure-footed handling and smooth, civilized running. A signature touch throughout was the head shroud that channels air across the cylinder heads, very much a Suzuki hallmark of the era. The GT550 emerged as a well-balanced counterpoint, less bulky than the water-cooled GT750, noticeably smoother than many twins, and with a 3-cylinder soundtrack all its own. Technical highlights. Under the tank sits an inline 3-cylinder two-stroke displacing 543 cc. Each cylinder breathes through its own Mikuni carb, and Suzuki's CCI Auto Lube targets the crank bearings and pistons. No premix required. Cooling is air only, helped by a shroud that directs airflow over the head. Factory figures claim about 50 horsepower at around 7,500 RPM, with a real-world top speed of roughly 170 to 175 kilometers per hour, about 105 to 109 miles per hour. A 5-speed gearbox sends power to the chain drive. From 1973 onward, there's a single front disc with a drum at the rear. A steel double cradle frame keeps it planted, and the classic 19-inch front, 18-inch rear wheel combo adds rock-solid straight-line stability. One detail you won't forget: despite 3 cylinders, there are 4 chromed pipes. The center exhaust is split to feed 2 mufflers. Depending on the year, it ran Suzuki's electronic PEI ignition. Earlier models used 3 separate breaker points. Design and ergonomics. The GT550 turns engineering into style. A slender teardrop tank with deep knee cutouts, chrome fenders, and a no-nonsense cockpit dominated by a big tack define its look. The cylinder head shroud isn't just a visual signature. It channels cooling air across the combustion chambers, a period detail with a purpose. A long, flatly padded dual seat and a wide chrome handlebar put you in a relaxed, upright stance. Mid-mounted pegs spare your knees on long stretches. Depending on the year, the instrument cluster includes a gear indicator that's surprisingly handy day-to-day. Flip up the seat to reveal the tool compartment, while the side panels wear raised GT badges. And those 4 elegantly slim mufflers extend the silhouette without adding bulk. The result: approachable, narrow between the knees, and surprisingly long-distance capable. Handling and everyday usability. From the saddle, the triple shows just how smooth a two-stroke can be. From the mid-range, it pulls cleanly with barely any buzz, and above that, it spins up eagerly. The gearbox snicks through the gears, and a tall fifth keeps revs relaxed on country roads. In town, heat management is a non-issue. Out on the backroads, the Suzuki rewards smooth flowing lines rather than frantic flicks. At around 200 kilos wet, it feels planted and tracks true, not twitchy, ideal for unhurried, enjoyable rides. From 1973, the front disc adds noticeably more stopping power while the rear remains a drum. Everyday winner: the separate oil injection. Just gas up and go. A practical touch is the standard center stand, which makes chain care and wheel work easy. Fuel consumption and that signature two-stroke aroma come with the territory. Ride with foresight, and you'll be rewarded with silky smooth running and impeccable manners. Strengths and highlights. The GT550 shines for its balance. Smooth, refined running, plenty of punch, and honest, straightforward mechanicals. Its 543cc three-cylinder two-stroke delivers a broad, tractable spread of torque, without the frantic edge of some singles. Oil injection simplifies everyday riding, and an air shroud over the cylinder head keeps temperatures stable on long hauls. A technical plus on certain model years, Suzuki Recycle Injection System routes excess oil from the crankcase back into the intake, cutting idle smoke and saving the exhaust baffles. The long-distance setup, seat, bars, and pegs keeps you comfortable for hours. The cockpit is easy to read. Later models add a gear indicator to help keep the triple in its sweet spot. And last but not least, that quad-pipe signature, visually and acoustically a unique calling card among the classics. Weak spots and common problems. Age takes its toll. Hardened crankshaft seals can cause air leaks or let the engine suck in gearbox oil. Blue smoke from one pipe and a dropping transmission oil level are the telltales. The CCI oil pump and its check valves can drain back after decades. Oil pools in the crankcases and you get a startup smoke show. The three carbs are fussy about cracked intake boots and sloppy synchronization, which leads to a weak idle and even pinging. The early twin-leading shoe front drum is only so-so. From 1973, the disc helps, though its floating caliper loves to seize. Electrically, 3 sets of points demand painstaking adjustment. Weak condensers cause misfires. A clever touch with a catch. Cracks or loose mounts on the head shroud create vibration and intake leak noises. Add in oil-soaked exhaust baffles, lazy voltage regulators, and brittle oil lines. In short, robust engineering, but only as good as its care and its seals, accessories, and customization. If you want to refine the GT550, there's plenty to choose from. Period correct and reversible. Expansion chambers from Higspeed or Gemco wake it up above 5,000 RPM with noticeably stronger pull. That always goes hand in hand with a careful reject of the 3 Mikuni carbs, and the stock airbox keeps the mid-range steadier than pods. For the brakes, fit a braided steel line up front and modern pads. Early drum brake bikes can be converted to the later disc using factory parts. On the chassis side, progressive fork springs and Hagon shocks add composure, and tires like Bridgestone BT46 suit its character. Electrical upgrade. A vape power dynamo kit replaces points in the weak charging system with a low-maintenance ignition and a healthy 12-volt supply for an H4 headlight or LED inserts. For touring, go period correct with a luggage rack and Krauser panniers. A low Euro bar and adjustable pegs sharpen the ergonomics without compromising the triple's DNA. Market value and buying tips. The GT550 is still attainable, but prices are clearly on the rise. Rideable bikes often change hands for €4,500 to €6,500. Very original examples with unmodified stock mufflers can fetch €8,000 to €10,000. Make sure the Ram Air head shroud and the Suzuki CCI oil pump are present and working. Both have a big impact on value. To deliver its roughly 50 horsepower, it needs a properly synchronized triple carb setup. A lumpy idle often points to air leaks or hardened crank seals. Must-check items. Brittle oil injection lines, seized front brake calipers, and oil-fouled muffler baffles. A complete set of 4 original mufflers is scarce and can run north of €1,200. The original triple points ignition is authentic. A discrete electronic ignition improves everyday use but can nibble at the originality premium. U.S. market Indy imports look great and are often cheaper. Just make sure the engine and frame numbers match and the model year checks out. Conclusion and buying advice. If you're after a classic 2-stroke Suzuki you can live with, the middleweight triple hits the sweet spot. Plenty of power, loads of character, no drama. The GT550 blends easy pull with silky smoothness, stays relaxed on country roads, and wears its style with that 4-pipe signature. Keys to happiness: tight crankshaft seals, a correctly set oil pump, healthy carburation, and a front brake that actually works. Big value drivers are an original exhaust and an undamaged Ram Air head shroud. Missing or rusty parts can rack up a 4-figure bill fast. For riders who'd rather carve corners than hustle, it's a rewarding choice. More touring-oriented than its sportier contemporaries, and nimbler than its big water buffalo sibling. Our tip: buy the best, most complete example you can find. budget for fresh seals and a brake service, and enjoy a classic whose laid-back nature is both audible and tangible with every mile. Presented by Motorize.e.